The Wayne family is Gotham's uncrowned royalty, holding massive power and influence and essentially building Gotham City from the ground up. While Bruce Wayne is the most famous individual from the family, in this video, I'm going to break down the entire timeline of the Wayne family, past, present, and future. And I might mix together certain aspects of different multiverses to fill in the gaps and have some logical guesses as needed. Before I begin, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, Bruce Wayne's name comes from two real-world historical figures, Robert the Bruce, King of the Scots, and Mad Anthony Wayne. The former of the two may indicate that the Wayne family being of European nobility at one point. This is solidified as it states that Gawain the Courteous, the nephew of the legendary King Arthur, is an ancestor of the Wayne family. The legend of King Arthur is around the medieval period in the 5th and 6th century, which is about 401 to 600 AD. There is also mentions of Lancelot and Gontran Wayne during the medieval period, with the latter emigrating from England to Scotland to begin the Scottish branch of the Wayne family. The Lord of Waynmore Castle, named Harold in northern England, who was murdered by his brother Lauren, who took over the title, is an ancestor of Bruce Wayne as well during the end of the Crusades, which is about 1291 AD. Robert the Bruce, who became king around 1306 till his death at 1329, who I mentioned previously, is a possible ancestor of Bruce Wayne. After the death of his son, the line of succession was passed to the House of Stuart. However, the descendants of Robert were still very successful, even having the title Earl of Elgin, and being appointed in powerful areas of position. There are also mentions of Sir Gawain de Wayne, a French knight in the Scottish court in the 14th century, and also mentions of the Batman, a Norse hero in the 10th century, though I am unsure if either one is an ancestor. After this, there is a lack of information immediately for any relations to the Waynes. I would guess they still had a large amount of money, thanks to their nobility status, and may have slowly transitioned into more commercial investments, turning more into a merchant family. It may have been similar to the success of the House of Medici, a real-world, extremely influential Italian banking family. The next mention of a Wayne ancestor is Nathaniel Wayne in the 1640s, an American witch hunter hunting witches in the Gotham Colony. This would indicate that the Wayne family traveled across the Atlantic and settled in America, at least a portion of them. Then, in 1765, Thomas Wayne, not Bruce's father, a cult worshipper, worshipping the god Barbados, who fights Batman in the future as Dr. Hertz. Then there's Mad Anthony Wayne, who I mentioned previously, who was a major general under General George Washington, active from 1775 till 1796. In the 1880s, Charles Wayne buys a large amount of property and grows his fortune until his death. His two sons, Joshua Thomas and Solomon Zebediah Wayne, buy Wayne Manor. Now both of them were abolitionists, freeing slaves and being a part of the Underground Railroad. Unfortunately, Joshua was killed, unknown to Solomon at the time, by bounty hunters who were seeking an Underground Railroad post at Wayne Manor. Solomon became a federal judge and commissioned the design of much of Gotham's architecture. Solomon's son, Alan Wayne, spearheaded the growth of Gotham Railworks and used Wayne shipping to found Wayne Enterprises. Alan had an arrangement with the mysterious Court of Owls, giving them secret hideouts hidden in the 13th floor of the Wayne buildings. But after learning their true intentions, Alan became very fearful, and rightly so, as he was then captured and tortured before being killed off. His only son was Kenneth Wayne, who founded Wayne Chemicals and helped industrialize Gotham City. He had two sons, Silas and Patrick Wayne. His early death left his fortune to his wife, Laura Wayne, a shrewd businesswoman who was involved in the Prohibition movement. Patrick inherited the company after her death, creating Wayne Tech and Wayne Corp, and was a big supporter of both world wars. His brother Silas worked closely with Patrick, and there isn't much about him except in the Earth 1 version, where Silas disapproves of Bruce Wayne's playboy lifestyle, hoping his grandnephew could achieve something great like his forefathers. When he's informed that Bruce is actually Batman shortly before his death, he dies in peace. Patrick Wayne has 2 children, Dr. Thomas Wayne and Agatha Wayne. The only important thing on Agatha that I could find was that she accidentally helps Batman and Robin, though she doesn't realize it. Whereas Thomas Wayne, uninterested in a career in finance, his post-college years he served as a missionary. He would then return to Gotham a couple of years later, joining Gotham University's medical school. He would become a well-respected surgeon and also managed Wayne Enterprises' philanthropic efforts with his wife Martha Wayne. Martha Wayne, originally Martha Cain, was born from the Cain family, who had owned Cain Chemicals, though their fortune was lost. I don't know if it's all of it though. Martha was a philanthropist, appealing to her wealthy associates to support various causes, including Tompkins Clinic. Martha married Thomas, though she became estranged from her family due to the disapproval of her marriage. Her family members include Kate Cain, which is Batwoman, Beth Cain, Alice, a supervillain, and Betty Cain, Flamebird, another member of the Bat family. She and Thomas were killed by Joe Chill, causing the beginning of Batman. Newly orphaned, Bruce Wayne was raised by Alfred Pennyworth, the loyal butler of the Wayne family. Alfred becomes Bruce's legal guardian and most likely the controller of Wayne Enterprises till Bruce becomes 18. He supports Bruce's path of justice despite its many dangers, making sure to assist him with his variety of skills and helping raise Bruce's adopted children. Bruce no doubt considers Alfred to be his stepfather. Now before I start on Bruce Wayne, I do want to say something, and that's I'm not going to fully cover the very popular characters from this point on, as it would be way too much for just one video. Instead, I'm going to summarize. After being traumatized, Bruce swears an oath to rid Gotham City of crime, and after graduating from his preparatory academy, at the age of 14, he would travel around the world, attending courses in prestigious universities in Europe, and these courses were very specific to his goals, and he would drop out once he learned about it. He would also learn manhunting from Henry Ducard, stealth from the Ninja Kirigi, hunting from the African Bushman, hand-to-hand combat from world champion boxer Ted Grant and premier assassin David Kane. He would learn Kung Fu from Richard Dragon, archery from Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, and detective skills from Harvey Harris. He joins the FBI, but soon leaves due to the regulations and conduct. He then returns to Gotham City, starting up as Batman. His first son is Richard Dick Grayson. Born to the Grayson family, he participated as an acrobat with his family called the Flying Graysons. His parents were murdered in front of him during a performance, which Bruce witnesses. Seeing the similarities between Bruce and Dick, he adopts him as his legal ward. Dick soon learns of Bruce's identity, and to get justice for his family's death, decides to go under rigorous training to be Robin, a nickname his mother gave him. At age 19, he was fired by Batman due to an injury by the Joker. He soon leaves Wayne Manor, and after a discussion with Superman, he takes on the name Nightwing. The next Robin was Jason Todd, who had become an orphan living in his dead father's apartment, performing criminal activities to survive. He became especially skilled at stealing tires, and was caught by Batman when he tried to steal the tires of the Batmobile. After 6 months of training, he soon took over the mantle of Robin. He was more aggressive and reckless than his predecessor. This behavior eventually leads him to be forbidden to go out as Robin. He is later killed during an encounter with the Joker, who beats him to death with a crowbar. He later resurrects and seeks revenge against the Joker and confronts his mentor. He dons a new name and costume as the Red Hood, an anti-hero. The third Robin is Tim Drake, who was born to Jack and Janet Drake. As a child, he witnessed the death of the Flying Graysons, which would be a key piece of info as years later, he notices the unique acrobatics of Robin which were similar to the movements by the Flying Graysons. He pieces together the identities of Batman and Robin from this clue and even notices a change in the identity from the first Robin to the second. He volunteers to be the next Robin, and though he was initially denied, due to a serious scenario, Batman accepts him on a trial basis. He would eventually give up the identity and become the Red Robin. Next is the fourth Robin, Damian Wayne. He is Bruce's biological son, and his mother is Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. He was trained by his grandfather since a young age to be a great martial artist and warrior. He is then placed into the care of Batman, and while cruel at first due to his training as an assassin, under his father's direction, he slowly shows more restraint and compassion. Next is Cassandra Cain, the daughter of David Cain, who I mentioned previously, and Sandra Wusan, or Lady Shiva, one of the greatest martial artists in the DC universe. Their goal was to create a perfect warrior. Cassandra was trained, being deprived of speech and instead taught martial arts, with the idea of the areas being used for speech would change to process body language at a higher, precise way. This was effective as she was able to kill at the age of 8 years old. However, due to her hypersensitivity for body language, she was scarred due to her perceiving death for the first time. She runs away and enters Gotham City at the age of 17 and was taken in by the Oracle and became Batman's adoptive daughter. Thanks to her amazing martial arts powered by her unique dyslexia, she becomes the fourth Batgirl. She does lose her abilities temporarily by a psychic and could no longer function at the previous capacity. So she was retrained by her mother. She has been a part of the Outsiders and Batman Incorporated, with the latter using the new name Black Bat. There's Batman's adopted alien son Jarro, who's a genetic sample from the alien conqueror Starro. Batman kept the cells in a jar, hence the name Jarro. Kept in the Hall of Justice, he grew close to Batman following Batman's crippling injuries. Jarro considers Batman to be his father, and dreams of him being the best partner Batman's ever had. The villain Aeon, son of Batman and Catwoman, who grew resentful of Damian for being the new Batman. Terry McGinnis, who takes on the identity of Batman in the future, but it's later discovered that due to Amanda Waller's interference, Terry's father's DNA was rewritten to Batman's DNA. The same for his brother, Matt McGinnis. In the 31st century, there is someone called Brain, a descendant of Bruce, who is Batman, and Tom Wayne, a Robin in a possible future. There are other descendants, but most of them fall into Elseworlds or alternate timelines, so I'm not going to include them in this video. Thank you for watching. If I missed someone, drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.